Okay, it's 2:00. That means it's time for train time. We're calling the meeting to order. And guess what? It's September 17th already, 2022. Be sure you start working on your Christmas list. Here's a little message for everyone in the room and at home about what you should be doing during this meeting. And the one thing is, please mute your phone. Is everybody's phone muted now? Oh, I see a couple muting their phones. I'm glad I put this slide up here so everybody, I've earlier muted mine. Oh, good thing we reminded everybody. I guess that's why we have this slide here. Phones off or silent. If you have to take an emergency call, please step outside. You don't want to get into your personal business. And please say your name, speak clearly and loudly, and be brief, but be bold. Looking for visitors. Don't see any visitors. Don't see any visitors at all. We have a visitor online. Do we have any visitors online, Russell, besides Riley?
No, sir.
Okay, well, Riley Tiggs is here. We'll be introducing him later. He'll be making a presentation soon. Riley is the Nmra Publications Chairman. Is that right, Riley?
That is correct. Yep.
Okay, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And that's it, right, Russell?
Yes.
Okay, and you're keeping a log, right?
Yes.
Great. Minutes from the last meeting. I believe those were posted on the Division 8 website. How many have read the minutes from the last meeting? All right.
I don't count.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Bob, of course, wrote them. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes as posted?
Move approved as posted. Move and accepted.
Who was that? Oh, that's Mark.
We'll make it,
That's Mark Hedge. Mark Hedge. Thank you, Mark.
yeah, streamline the business meeting.
Good to see you. Yeah, we just need you. Thank you, Mark. Do we vote on that? Do we vote on the minutes? Okay. Oh, yeah, well, I'm asking, did we vote on it? No, we didn't vote, right, Bob? All those in favor of approving the minutes? Aye. Any opposed? Excellent. Thank you. Next on, we got the treasurer's report with Mr. Mike Berry.
Okay. All right, treasurer's report as of this morning, in fact. Any questions? Okay.
All right.
Go
Do we have a motion to approve? Oh, we have a question?
Motion approved.
Motion to approve. Thank you, Fred. We have a second?
I second it.
Rick Wagner.
Required.
What, Rick? No. Sorry, Rick. I know your name. But you might tell it to me after the meeting. So before we move on to the member welfare report, we do have a prestigious visitor just joined us. You all remember Mr. Robinson's neighborhood? Well, Mr. Gordy Robinson has joined us online. So welcome, Gordy.
Hey everyone,
Nice to see you.
and I need to see you all. I will stay in the background and be quiet.
Okay.
I know my
good.
place.
Glad you joined us. I just warned everybody because now we won't act up like we normally do since you're here.
Oh, don't stop the party on my account.
All right. Nice to see you. Okay, Mike. Member welfare, please.
Okay. Yeah, kind of busy month, sadly, for member welfare. When I have anything to talk about, it's usually not good. We gave out 2 Get Well cards with gift cards in them, $25 each, to Steve Lasher and his wife Bonnie. Seems to be this time of the year for couples kind of doubling up here. They were obviously 2 different incidents, 2 different times, but they both were hospitalized. So they both, according to our setup, they both got get well cards with a $25 gift card in each one of them. So that was and they're both doing fine now. So that's good. And then the other one is sadly, I think everybody's heard it now. We lost Nat King a few days ago. Surprised everybody. Everybody knows Nat's health hasn't been great for quite a while, but nobody was expecting Nat to go now, but he did. So we made, the division made a $50 donation to the American Heart Association in memory of Nat, per his wife Carolyn's request. So we did that. So we do that with whenever anyone passes, a member or their spouse. So as I mentioned in the treasurer's report, that's where the money went for member welfare this month. And please, if you hear of anyone hospitalized or horrors of death in the family, please let me or someone on the board know, so we make sure it doesn't fall through the cracks and get forgotten. That would be terrible for somebody to not have anybody notice it. So if you hear, please pass the word along. Thank you. Any questions? All right, that's it.
Thank you, Mike. Just a few quick words about Nat before we move on. Nat, of course, was superintendent of the Canine Model Railroad Club for many years, starting in 2008. And he was made superintendent emeritus sometime in 2020, I believe, as his health got worse. If you didn't know, Nat had terrible emphysema, especially, emphysema is a disease that gets worse as you go on. And of course, that's what took him in the end. It's not a great way to go, losing your breath constantly. So we're very sorry to lose Nat. And of course, his service we published is going to be on visitation, and his service is going to be on Tuesday if you want to come pay your final respects. Mark Norman on AP program, please.
Ask Bruce Nmra to come up here and join us, or join me at least. Just gonna navigate through here. Might be easiest to come around behind
Ron,
Ron. I'm
yeah,
thinking.
Bruce. I won't trip you like I usually try to do.
Bruce has earned chief dispatcher. He did the paperwork. Beforehand, Fred and I went over to visit with him and just kind of go through it and review it together. A couple of days later, I think we got together and completed it. Congratulations, Rick.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bruce, I'm sorry. Very well done.
Well, I owe a debt of gratitude to the people who let you run their trains when you go to an op session, because without that, this would never even get off the ground. And in that regard, Tom Gunther and Russ Weiss are to be thanked. I have 5 now, and I have 2 more to go. And working on the structures. I'm halfway through structures, and I'll do cars, but I'm close. Thanks.
Real good.
Thank you, Mike.
Well done, sir.
Thank you, Bruce. Congratulations. Well, now we move on to a bombastic event. Double contest this month. Prototype photos and model photos, and here to tell you all about it, Barry.
That's right. Charlie Keeling monthly contest 2 times this month. It's our one time of the year where we do 2 contests. But before we do that, just want to review last month when we started the new contest year with Maintenance Away, but we didn't have the certificate, but we do now. So Rick Geertz, if you wouldn't mind coming up and getting your certificate from last month for Maintenance Away. And we will stand where the X normally is.
There's a ladder there now.
A ladder. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
You bet. It's good to see you today. And now for photography. We have a lot of good photographers in Division 8 and everybody was shining. So kudos to everybody that entered this time around. It was inspiring. So I am going to call up electronically today instead of have notes. We had 8 entries for prototype and we had 7 entries for model photos. So several honorable mentions. First of all, go to Rick again for Madison Railroad number 5, Jacob Butler for Norfolk Southern 8114, Russ Weiss for Mount Washington Cog Railway locomotive, Joe Martin for a view of the P&L yard, North Yard over in Paducah, and Kevin Jones for CSX Autorack train at Sparta, Kentucky. So yes, hopefully we'll see some of these photos published in the future because they're definitely that level. Now going on to the 3rd place for prototype, we have Eric Wagner, a scene which many of us recognize. It's the Durango and Silverton High Line, only place in the world like that. 2nd place was a little on the chilly side. That was Ed Brennan, winter rail fanning at its best. That tree looks really icy. And then 1st place for prototype photos, Bob Frankrone, billowing exhaust. You got a whole lot of steam going on there. So congratulations to everyone. And Bob, congratulations for your 1st place. And next time I see you, I will have a certificate for Bob. So we're glad for that. Okay, moving on to our 2nd contest, which is model photos. Got honorable mentions again for Rick for his backdrop building, Walmart there. Jacob Butler's cleaning up a derailment on his line. Russ Weiss got an L&N Big Emma. We love those Big Emmas. And Ed Brennan, Crazy Ron on the forklift with the black cat in the background. Okay. Excellent. Now moving on to 3rd place for model photos. We've got Kevin Jones. Congratulations, Kevin, NNW. Passenger train, beautiful. 2nd place, Bob Frankrone. Another good showing for Bob. Late afternoon at Valley Cement. And yeah, that's a whole lot of cement weathering there. 1st place for model photos, Stan White. Congratulations, Stan. A busy day on his railroad. So again, yeah, so again, he's online. So glad you're with us online and your photo or your certificate will be handed to you next time we cross paths. So yeah, let's give Stan a good hand. Thanks again to all of our entrants this month and next month, steam locomotives. So we'll be able to see some really good modeling on the steam side of things. Okay, thanks everybody.
Thanks, Barry. Excellent job as always. Just a reminder that if you like to take another look at all the contest photos, they are available via the Division 8 website under contests. I forget exactly it's pretty obvious once you get to that page where they are. I forget exactly how it's titled, but if you'd like to look at any time, you can, day or night, you can't sleep, wake up in the middle of the night, want to look at contest photos, you can from our website under contests. Changes. I love change. I get bored with the same thing. And Mike got bored too, driving to J-Town to go to our post office box. So we moved it closer to his home because we expect him to stay around for a while. And it's not a bad place. And it's a small post office, easy to get in and out of. Everybody know where Eastwood, Kentucky is?
Yeah.
All right, excellent.
Eastwood.
Good. Well, that's what a new PO box is. Stop in and say hello to the box if you're out in that neighborhood. We do have, if you forget where the post office box address is, you can find it on every copy of the pie card. And again, it is on the website under, well, it's not called brass. What's it called, Fred?
Right.
It is called brass. I think that's what it is called. So it has,
Or
also-
about us.
it has a listing of the officers and, important digits about the division. So you can always find it there if you forget. And we like to make it a habit, please, if you're sending something to the division, please send it to the PO box, not one of the members, in case something happens to that member. We have automated access for several people to the PO box, but we can't get into their homes. And you can see, it looks like we're moving today, but not quite. We're redecorating for when we do leave, apparently. So we won't have access to the 600 room after the November meeting, or after, if we met here in December, we could meet here, but after that, we will no longer be able to meet here. So we have a committee among the board looking for a new location. But if you know of a location, Mr. Johnson has suggested 3 places, which we appreciate, Bob. Stan has those suggestions, by the way, and he's working on that. And we'll be reporting as we make progress about where we're going to meet next. We do have a couple of things in our back pocket in case we can't find a nice new place. Well, I guess we don't really want a place like this, but as it what used to be, we'd like to have that. Okay. Next, programs and meetings with Mr. Russ Weiss.
Okay, thanks, Ron. So today, thanks to Fred's bumping elbows with the right people at the National Convention in St. Louis, we're pleased to have Riley Triggs with us. Riley's the editor, publisher of the online NMRA magazine. So, he's going to give us a talk on that and have enough time to answer any questions you should have. So we're happy to have Riley with us today. And speaking of the National Train Show, Fred Seward's better half, Barbara, took a bunch of pictures at various activities through the show, and she's going to be giving us the highlights of what she thought were the best today. So we're glad to have both filling us in. Next.
You're talking to me, aren't you?
Yeah, there you go.
I drifted off, sorry.
Yeah. So next month, October 8th, our gathering, which is only Zoom. So Fred is going to give us one of the live feed from the Lakota West show up in the Cincinnati area. So that's always fun. So we hope that you'll be with us that day. And just remember that that Lakota show is the Saturday and Sunday. So if Fred shows you something that you're really dying to have, then you can run right up there on Sunday and hopefully it will be there. And still on conventions, yours truly will give a recap of this year's narrow gauge convention, which was held in the Seattle, Tacoma area. And Jim Petro and I went to that, and that was kind of fun as always. And remember that even though it's a narrow gauge convention, a lot of the layouts that we saw were standard gauge. And one of them, believe it or not, was just a really, really great S gauge Monon layout. Yes, Monon in Seattle. So I'll have a few pictures of that. So I hope you'll stay tuned for that. Next. Okay, so next month, our GM meeting, we'll have 2 presenters. And now that the our regional convention's over and the national convention's over and the narrow gauge convention's over. We got to be thinking about next year. So Fred, you might help me on the pronunciation of Dennis's last name, but he's the superintendent of Division 2, and he's going to give us a little pep talk on next year's MCR convention, which will be in Pittsburgh. So, stay tuned for that. And our own Bruce DeMare will give a talk on signaling on his new layout. So we'll see what Bruce comes up with, the way he's going to signal his. Next.
We'll be practicing Dennis's name between now and next month.
Yeah, thank you.
Otherwise, we'll welcome Dennis.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. Easy. Don't be nervous. It'll be okay.
I had too much coffee today, so.
Or not enough. So remember that if you haven't attended one of the NRHS meetings, they are the first Friday of every month, December and July being the exception. Start at 7 o'clock. If you want to contact Bob or Fred for the Zoom connection. These are always fun because whether it's around the Louisville area or other parts of the country where the presenter is giving his or her talk, it's always neat to go back and see what was and maybe what has become. So those are always fun. If you haven't attended one of these, then October 7th would be a good one to start out with. And Fred will be, how do you know it's 1980? So I don't know. We might have to find out. So check that out next month also.
We normally publish the link, the Zoom link to the NRHS meetings in the Wednesday information update. But if you're not a subscriber to Groups.io and you're interested in attending one of these meetings, send Bob Dawson an email or send the division an email and we'll get it to Bob and he'll put you on the list to receive notifications. Right, Bob?
Yes, most definitely. We like to have, we just like to have everybody join us and have fun.
It's an excellent experience and often a very interesting presentation on history of railroads. Back to you, Russ.
Thanks, Ron. So again, like I mentioned previously, that if you really don't want to come to the gathering next month, then run right up and you can be the first in line in Cincinnati for that show. But again, it will also be the next day on Sunday. And if you went there and didn't find anything that you needed or wanted, then you can always try the next week, October 15th, for the Southern Indiana Railroad swap meet just across the river in Jeffersonville. So two shows to spend your money. Next. And don't forget our show coming up in November. And we need volunteers. And in the 600 room, Ron says that there is a sign-up sheet. And so please do that because, we need people to help out to make the show a success. So if you, anything from kind of helping us arrange the tables on a Friday evening to taking them back down Saturday after the show and everything in between would be greatly appreciated. So again, this is your show. This is what we do twice a year. So please try to lend a hand and let Ron, Fred, or Mark know about it.
And I think almost everybody here in the 600 room has signed up already to volunteer or as a dealer at the show. I see a couple of dealers, people have signed up for dealer tables here, but those at home, if you'd like to sign up, once again, send an email to Division 8 or give us a call on the Division 8 bat phone and we'll reply and acknowledge your sign up.
Question? Do we have any tables left?
Yes.
Okay.
We have about 75 out of 103 tables. So,
79.
so okay, Mark has sold a couple more tables since we last talked. Thank you for the update, Mark. Okay, Russ, back to you.
Oh, back to me. Oh, yes. And while we're kind of all hot and humid again here in Louisville, don't forget that when it gets cooler, we're going to have a Christmas party, December 3rd. And it will be at the Corner Cafe, which is, just on the outskirts of the Linden area. So pretty centrally located. It will be a buffet like other years, starting at 5:30. So right as we speak right now that we're working on an easy way to sign up. It will be announced soon, but please put that on your calendar because it's always a fun event. And I think you'll find that this year will be more affordable than some previous years.
Yeah, it doesn't say so on this flyer, which is my fault, but the dinner is going to be $15 a person this year. So apparently the flyer didn't get updated to the right parties, but we will be updating it soon.
Hey,
And if we're lucky, if I'm not mistaken, the Corner Cafe is near the CSX railroad tracks, and maybe we'll get to do some rail fanning while we're having supper.
Yeah, or maybe, well, of course, it will be kind of dark then, but maybe we can even take one of those winter pictures like Commander Brennan took, huh?
Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe.
Hopefully not. Yeah. For those who like snow, I guess so. Okay.
Well,
thank you very much, Russell, for your extravaganza of events coming up.
Yeah, well, back to the cafe, if we have enough drinks, and we won't mind standing out in the cold, so.
True enough. Thank you, Russell. Okay. We're about ready to adjourn here. One couple of quick things. We won't be a back to basics presentation today because we have a longer program. So we're going to sidestep that. It'll be back maybe next month. But before we officially adjourn, let me just mention that Mr. Bob Johnson has cordially brought some insulators to share with the group. Yes, Bob, do you have a word to say?
For all of us, everybody needs an insulator, telegraph insulator in the training room. So
Yeah.
it's just part of the ambiance. Anyway, everybody take one. My wife wanted the basket that was full of these insulators, and so here they are. Just take one.
Sure.
But I get Ramona gets the basket.
I thought, wow, Fred's bringing one up to give to me. How nice. We'll have to go back and get one, but I'm supposed to show this up so you see it apparently. And I'll put it back in the basket.
What you missed by not being here.
I'll see, if you're not here in the 600 room, this is what you miss.
have you all mentioned our special guest besides Mr. Triggs?
Now you exited there for a few minutes, Mark, and so that was taken care of while you were gone.
Okay, yeah, I had some business to take care of.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
we couldn't wait for you. We had to move on.
Next question I got. Who is doing the layout search? Is that board of directors or I got 2 or 3 ideas myself.
Well, you and I'll talk next week, Mark. Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's all.
Yes, you might have missed that too, but that's fine. If
Okay.
anyone else missed it, yes, board of directors committee is one of the committees is working on that.
Okay, well, I'll just
Give me
wait
the
for the meeting.
information. I'll
Thank you.
pass it on. Thank you. And we're adjourned. 5-minute break. And as we get set up for Riley.